Good morning and welcome to another video cast from Hendy Consulting, the specialist management consulting firm for the $125 billion FPD display industry. And today I want to talk about something that is very close to my heart and I feel quite strongly about. And that's the role of marketing communications and messaging in getting your news out there in the display industry. And this is based on a very large number of customer and client contacts from my business advocating to our clients about the need for multi-channel Marcom in terms of addressing the display industry. The reality is that as a response to engineers being hired from Korea and moved to China with quite a high price tag on their heads to help support the Chinese display industry, and because of intercompany leaks with people walking out of companies with data sticks full of intellectual property, display companies on the whole, like the top end of the electronics industry, has become very silent about what they're doing and controlling information even within the same company. So the corollary of that is, if you're marketing a display firm on the importance of your material or your equipment or your technology, then actually you need to pursue a multi-channel approach in multiple languages, in multiple publications, both directly behind closed doors and very publicly at conferences, announcing your intentions and telling the world what you're up to. Because actually these days, the display firms, knowing who you are and actually a fairly rich description of your business and not a simple one-line tagline, that becomes really important in you being able to go in the front door and talk to them about your business agenda. So I don't know the number of times that I've told particularly German corporates that it's really, really important that they use Marcom as a vehicle for messaging to the display industry as part of their market entry strategy. And some of these firms by nature are much prefer to have quiet one-on-one, potentially NDA protected discussions. And I think they miss the point that actually adoption of a new technology is nearly always a multifunctional decision. And in doing so, then you need much broader understanding from mid-level engineering right up to the executive suite on what it is your technology brings to the table. And the only way to do that is to pursue quite a broad and deep Marcom strategy. And so that's something I've definitely advocated. It's about say it often, say it loud, and use a megaphone. The other part of this is just to push over the fact that the display firms themselves use signaling and Marcom behaviors actually as part of competitive strategy. Now, you can call this game theoretic, and in some ways it is. So when Samsung says it's going to invest $12 billion in new OLED facilities, is what it's basically trying to signal to everybody else is, we are going to crush this space, we are going to be the largest, don't you think about also investing? Right, so this is why you see through Digitimes and other channels very large announcements by the major players about their forward-looking plans, often where the numbers are not necessarily inflated, but they're using the full scope of a potential multi-phase investment as part of the tagline. It's all part of claiming space. So what they're trying to do is use their own announcements as a way to deter others from making the same investments on the same sort of basis that if both companies, so company A and its competitor company B, both invest in large facilities, then actually the market tanks and is worse off. But if a single company invests, so it's almost like a prisoner's dilemma, a single company divests and move forward, they win. And so there's an extensive use of messaging and signaling amongst the big players through the press media in both Korea and Taiwan to use this as a way of setting up market positions by announcing intentions. So then, almost in a way, the Western firms, so clients that we may have in Europe or the US, need to learn the same games. If you are leading in a market space, then you need to reinforce that position and make sure that all the display players from mid-level engineering to the executive suite understand your market position and what you bring to the table. So this is then an agenda of writing, of strategic communications that leads to a greater awareness of your business. And certainly our own practice has evolved over the last few years, where we're doing this more often on behalf of our clients, placing articles, placing detailed content, placing content that's got enough engineering content that can actually be picked up and interpreted by a display client. Communications becomes an incredibly important tool to market entry. So There you are, my summary. Display companies have, by their own nature, had to become more siloed to protect their own information. As a net result, the role of marketing communications becomes even more important. And then you also realise that Marcom using signalling is a very important part of what display firms do themselves as a way of deterring competitors from making equal investments in the marketplace. In other words, the Marcom lever is very important when we consider the display industry. And this is what I would always advocate to our clients. I would love your feedback on this thought, and hope you have a good week.